Over-consuming Christian content is like eating fast food or drinking a sugary synthetic soda, but then still feeling really thirsty and hungry afterward. How many times I have consumed Christian content in different seasons of my life and just left feeling more dry, disconnected from God, myself, and even lost. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the reasons why over-consuming content and not putting it into action or applying it in your life, or even discerning with the Lord what to take in and what to really leave on the screen or leave on the table, so that you can actually learn to listen to the Holy Spirit in your day-to-day life, so that you can grow not just closer to Him, even though He is always close to you, but so that you can become who God has called you to be. So you can live with purpose. You can also live a happy, content life. So many of us are chasing this next dream or this next success or status. We're consuming content thinking that it's leading us more towards Christ, but it's actually leading us further away because we're not opening up our hearts to what God is doing in our actual lives. We use consumption as discipleship, but it's actually avoidance. It's avoiding the real voice of God in our lives, and we don't know that we're doing it. We're thinking, okay, well, I should just read more of the Bible. I should just pray more. I should just go to church more. And if you even hear my language, I should do it, that comes from shame. It doesn't come from a real invitation of love. And I believe why so many of us leave sermons or content binges or books, we leave unsatisfied because we don't know what to do with how our heart has responded to the material. And we also don't know how to discern where God is really in our lives. And then what is He calling me to do? What is He calling you to do? And I'm a big fan of thinking about the culture, the community, versus some of our individualistic society where it's like me and my beliefs and my experience of God. And I think you can fall off on one side of the horse or the other. But particularly my passion or kind of my mission here on YouTube and or with content in general is to really guide you or guide Christians to understanding the work of the Spirit in their own life so that they can really become who God has called them to be. I even myself get in the trap of over-consuming, partly because I'm avoiding maybe something in my life that's uncomfortable or something that is just overwhelming for me. And so the number one thing that I can recommend, even right now, just write down all the things that you've actually viewed or consumed this past week. Just write them down. That'll give you an idea of where your heart actually is. Because sometimes we're like, well, where is my heart? I have no idea even how to start. But if you start looking at the symptoms of where your heart condition or your heart posture has led you, that can be one of the biggest clues to know where your heart is. You might be asking, well, why am I starting with your heart versus where God is? Because if we don't know where we are on the map, we're not going to be able to locate ourselves to the next destination. If I want to go to San Francisco, but I am in Toronto, that's going to be a different route if I'm in San Diego. Those are two cities in California if you are in another part of the world, and then obviously Toronto's Canada. So you need to know where you are. Now the Lord is with you. If you're a Christian, He's already with you. But most of the time when we look for God, we experience dryness, we experience feedback from our own soul. And we have to sort through what's on our glasses and what's going on. What have you consumed? Write it down. Has it been sermons, YouTube videos? And it's not good or bad. Do not moralize it. That's not going to help. Then after you have your list, I want you to just look over the list and ponder it. Okay, are there some themes here? Notice which ones stand out to you. Maybe you watched a lot of content on Christian marriage. Maybe you read some books on the Sabbath. And then once you get some themes, then ask the Lord or your soul, both, say, what need is this content trying to fill in my life? Do I feel thirsty and hungry for intimacy with God? So once you know the real need that is driving you to consume content, that is driving you to avoid or distract, maybe you're having a stressful time in your marriage, or maybe you're feeling really lost in your purpose. And so consuming content just feels like a really easy, quick win. It gives you a dopamine hit, makes you feel like I'm doing something with my life or my time. And I've been there, so there's no judgment here. Judgment-free zone. But knowing what is driving that can help you actually understand what the real nurturing or nutrients that you need. For example, chocolate. A lot of times when women are on their period, they really want chocolate. That's actually a signal for magnesium. We'll take a substitution for the real thing, and we have to look at what is driving me towards this. And that can give you so much insight and just space between in psychology, they kind of talk about like the trigger, reaction, and then response or resource. There's a trigger, which is maybe someone yells in your life, and then you feel anxiety. That's your immediate reaction. And then you have a response. You might go open the fridge and get a piece of chocolate cake, or you might get on social media. So there's usually a trigger or a cause that has a type of emotion. You interpret that emotion, and then you try to solve it. And I believe our overconsumption in our digital age is trying to solve a problem. I just think about a plant. If I went and bought a plant at the store and I didn't know how to take care of it, I just set it on the counter, but I didn't put it near the window, I didn't water it every week, or maybe I overwatered it and then it died, I would feel frustrated. Oh, the plant sucks. No, I actually didn't learn, sorry, there's a plane ahead. I didn't learn how to nurture and care for that plant. And so many times we have not been taught how to do that for our souls. And so we try to do these religious things to fix a spiritual problem that may not even need to be fixed. It might be a relational problem. It might be a deficit in our life in some other capacity. Consuming isn't the problem. It's a symptom. The real problem is the need that you have that you're trying to get filled with something else. Look at what have you been consuming? What are some themes that you might be looking for? And then ask the Lord, is there another way that we can meet this need, that we can grow in connection? And this might mean coming up with 5-10 things to try this week to shift your focus on actually getting real food for your real needs. What vitamins do you need spiritually? Do you need a community to be in a space to practice the presence of God? Do you need to find a spiritual director? Do you need to be in a community of believers in person? Or maybe you need an online community. I have one, the Sanctus Room. You're welcome to join. Maybe every morning for the next 7 days, you just spend 10 minutes in silence with God. You set a timer on the phone. You don't read the Bible. You don't get on Instagram. You just literally sit in God's presence. And every time your mind wanders, you come back and say, Lord, I'm here. Every time your mind wanders, you come back and say, Lord, I'm here. That becomes a training to then stay with the Lord in whatever you're experiencing. That actually is a really powerful reset too. Practicing silence is probably one of the core things to practice if you want to have a deep relationship with God. I talk more about it in the Art of Transforming Prayer, but really essentially it's when you create space, you're able then to see what's really going on in your soul, and you're able to see the Holy Spirit more once the rubble and kind of the noise has settled down. If we're constantly hearing noise in our life, we're not going to be able to hear the still small voice of God. That's just been my experience and from directees that I work with in spiritual direction. If you want to know how to learn to listen to God more in silence, then I want you to check out this video next. And then last little shout out, thank you so much for all of you who support this channel through people who've been with me in the Sanctus Room. Also on Substack if you want longer form content written out. Bless you all, and I will see you in the next video.